Hello everyone and welcome back to the Football Chuggu Podcast. My name is Thomas Durning and today I'm joined by my co-host Pearse McLaughlin. Hello Pearse.
Hello, how you doing?
Doing well. On today's podcast we'll be reacting to last weekend's English Premier League and Scottish Premier League results. We'll also be giving a little update in European football news. And at the end of the podcast, Pearse will be giving a rundown of all the latest Asian football news. So, as always, we'll start off with the English Premier League results. So, on Saturday, the 10th of May, the results finished Fulham 1, Everton 3, Ipswich 0, Brentford 1, Southampton 0, Man City 0, Wolves 0, Brighton 2, Bournemouth 0, Aston Villa 1. And then on Sunday, the 11th of May, the results finished Newcastle 2, Chelsea 0, Man United 0, West Ham 2, Nottingham Forest 2, Leicester 2, Tottenham 0, Crystal Palace 2, and Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2. So, as always, Pearse, which match stands out to you the most?
Probably the last match, the biggest one of the weekend, I think. Which obviously Liverpool, Arsenal. And also we didn't do the podcast last week because I'm busy. I was away and stuff like that. But since then, Liverpool have now been crowned champions.
Yep.
And deservedly so. Arsenal gave a guard the honour. And then they got off to a perfect start. They got 2-0 up. And you think it's all rosy. And then obviously Arsenal, fresh out of crashed out of Champions League against PSG. As well, so they'd be hurting from that. And they managed to salvage a point in the end with 10 men. I thought they did really well. Considering, like you said, they've kind of had a difficult season without any strikers, so to come as close as they have, and they've proven that the two sides are by far the two best sides in the country at the moment. But saying that, how bad Man City have been, they're only a couple of points behind them, so Arsenal need to take maximum points to make sure they finish at second place. But it was more of a guard of honour and kind of glorifying Liverpool than anything. I think obviously since they won the title, that may have took the foot off the gas the second half. But for me, I thought just to congratulate Liverpool winning the Premier League.
Yep, that's my game that stands out to me the most. This was supposed to be the game that was the title decider. That's what we all thought around about Christmas time, that we thought that this was the game. Everyone was looking at this game thinking on the 11th of May that'll be the title decider. Hasn't turned out that way, obviously, in the Liverpool won the title. So I wasn't really. I thought it was actually a good game, but I did watch it. I thought it was a good game. Liverpool really good in the first half. Arsenal were poor. Second half, Arsenal improved. And they got back into it. And I thought there was a good flow to the game. But with Liverpool, I think they've kind of just checked out now. I think they're just kind of waiting until the last game of the season where they can lift that trophy. And whereas Arsenal, obviously, this game is the game that is very meaningless to them now, because now that we know they're at the Champions League, they've got nothing to play for now, apart from making sure that they finish second, which is not what they want. That game was my standout game. But I've got to mention Man United 0, West Ham 2, and Tottenham 0, Crystal Palace 2. So we found out the Europa League final is Man United versus Tottenham. These teams got defeated. So these teams won on Thursday, and then they played on Sunday there. They got beat in the league, and they're both 16th and 17th in the league, and they're in the Europa League final. I find it crazy. I really do. I mean, the fact that one of these teams will play in the Champions League next season it really is mental. It just shows how football goes. That they two have just been shocking this season domestically. They really have. It's been really poor from both sides, and that is basically, I think whoever loses that final, one of the managers, whether if it's Ange Postecoglou or Ruben Amorim, I think one of them will be in trouble if they lose that game, because that is the season for both of them. So I thought it was worth mentioning that, because they two are in the Europa League final.
Yeah, I wonder. I wonder I'm supporting.
Yeah, quite hard to figure that one out. But just before we move on, Piers, I just want to ask you. So we touched on the Liverpool Arsenal game. So we
Yeah.
found out now that Trent is leaving Liverpool. He announced that last week. We didn't do a podcast last week, but he announced it. It's not been confirmed yet, but it's basically all but done that he's going to be moving to Real Madrid. We've already discussed this, but do you think it's the right move for him to leave Liverpool for Real Madrid?
Yeah, I do. I think although Liverpool's a massive club, Real Madrid's the biggest club in the world, in my opinion, up there with Barcelona. And I think any boy that becomes a man and goes through even their team and breaks into the first team, which he has, and then won what he's won in terms of every domestic trophy, and he's won the Champions League with Liverpool before as well. So maybe he's got to that point as well where he's at a good age where he wants to maybe take his game to the next level and try pastures new. And obviously there's a lot of inspective Real Madrid fans online that have found his first ever Instagram post, which was when he was at the Bernabeu as a youngster, and just in awe. So I think it was always written in the cards that he would one day maybe play for Real Madrid. But I think to play for Real Madrid, I think he needs to up his game in terms of defensively, because it's going to be a lot tougher to play for this Real Madrid side than it is for Liverpool, because Liverpool have a formation and a structure that suits and allows him that freedom. I don't think he'll have that freedom at Real Madrid, and plus he's got Danny Carvajal to learn from, which is he's probably arguably for me one of the best right backs in the world.
Yep.
When he's fit, obviously he's had a massive injury. He's still coming back from that, but I think it's a perfect learning ground from it, and he's seen what Jude Bellingham's gone on to do. So I think he'll settle in perfectly, and I think for me, brilliant bit of business from Real Madrid yet again, another free transfer, which is added to the one they've done previously: David Alaba, Rudiger, and Kylian Mbappe, and now Trent. So I think that's four amazing kind of free transfers that have improved their side massively, and he's still very young, and a lot of years to come from him.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is the right move for him. Probably, obviously, it's a very hard move, a very hard decision to leave Liverpool, but it's Real Madrid. I mean, any football in the world, I mean, if you've got Real Madrid chasing you and wanting to sign you, it is impossible to turn it down. And the fact that the right back position for Real Madrid is a position that they strengthened. You know, it's not as if Trent's coming in and he's going to be up against a prime Danny Carvajal. You know, we all know Carvajal's coming. He's in his later years of his career now, so Trent can really cement that position for the next how many years. Also, he's got the opportunity to win things as well, but it's not going to be easy for him because we all say that everybody says that the English Premier League is better than the Liga, but in some cases I don't know if that's true, because I think a lot of wingers in the Liga are very good that don't get recognised. And I think Trent might struggle because we all know he defensively isn't great. So I think he might find it hard, and obviously the pressure. If he might find the pressure at Liverpool hard, we all know Real Madrid is a totally different ball game. So it's going to be interesting to see how he copes with that. But that's not confirmed yet.
You mentioned that, Tom. Sorry to cut you off there, but
No, that's it.
perfect example of known scrutiny is Gareth Bale.
Exactly. Yeah.
What that man achieved at
Yeah.
Real Madrid was amazing, but because he never really got into the culture and he got really got on along with the media, because the media the scrutiny is massive, and even Ronaldo said that. Cristiano Ronaldo, the greatest player for me, said that to Mbappe. He says playing for PSG is different, but when you play for Real Madrid, it's like the pressure is mental, and it's more the mental side. If he can cope with that, then he'll be fine.
Yeah, that is it. That's it in a nutshell. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's not confirmed yet. He might move somewhere else. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen. We all know it's going to be Real Madrid. But when it is confirmed, we'll discuss it a little bit more. So we'll now move on to the Scottish Premier League results. So at the weekend, so on Saturday, the 10th of May, The results finished: Dundee United 0, St Mirren 2, Hearts 3, Motherwell 0, Kilmarnock 3, Dundee 2, St Johnstone 2, Ross County 1, Celtic 3, Hibs 1. And then on Sunday, 11th of May, we had one match which finished Rangers 4, Aberdeen 0. So, as always, Pearse, which match from there stands out to you? I know my one.
I think it's got to be the Celtic 3, Hibernian 1. I think it's obviously the two most unfirmed sides in the league. Coming head to head, David Gray's done a massive job at Hibs, playing great football. And they had every confidence going into this match that they'd potentially get a result and cement third place, chase second place. So, and obviously got off to a perfect start. They went 1-0 up through Martin Boyle. Mix up at the back, bounces like he always does. And they caused a threat all afternoon on the counter attack. But I think as soon as Celtic got that first and quick second right before half time and went in the lead 2-1, the second half was a different animal. Because Celtic then got their third goal and it was just kind of easy street cruise. And I think Hibs kind of realised that it was just damage limitation at that point. Just don't get beat too heavily. And I think obviously Celtic themselves have got an eye on that cup final in a couple of weeks. And they took off the captain and a few key players and rested Carter Vickers and stuff like that. So I think all in all it was a routine win for Celtic at the end, but they had an early scare. And Hibs looking pretty good and so was Celtic. So it was a pretty good match all in all.
Yep. The match that stands out to me is St Johnstone 2, Ross County 1. The reason is that win for St Johnstone means that they're now only 3 points behind Ross County with 2 games to go. So basically, we all thought St Johnstone were all but doomed to go down, but they've managed to get that victory, which means that it looks like the relegation spot's going to go right down to the last day. They had to win that one because I think if they'd lost, they were all but down anyway. It wouldn't been confirmed yet, but it was basically they had to win, and they did. And for Ross County, that's 7 defeats in a row now. So that is very worrying considering the position they're in and at the time of the season. So, that was my standout match. Very big win for St Johnstone. But I want to ask when you go.
That result, I think. I'm looking at the remaining 2 fixtures for Ross County. Their next game is tomorrow, Wednesday, and that's against Dundee away.
Yep, that's a big game.
Really, really tough game because obviously, as we know, Dundee are a real threat going forward.
Yeah.
And then obviously the last game they've got is Motherwell at home, so I think that the two fixtures are massive. And then obviously St Johnstone have got Dundee themselves, and they've got Hearts. So it's hard to tell. I think it'll go right down to the wire.
Yeah, it will. It definitely will because that result is created this situation. That's what you want, but you want it to go right down to the last day.
We love drama.
You loved it. We love drama. Gives us something to talk about. It was a big win for them. It really was. They had to win that, and they did. But I want to talk a little bit of managerial news in Scottish football, Pearse. So we'll start off with Derek McInnes, who's the Kilmarnock manager. So it's actually been confirmed by Derek McInnes himself that a deal has been agreed for him to become the new Hearts manager. So we all know Hearts will be without a manager after sacking Neil Critchley. And Hearts' main target and number one, the manager they want is Derek McInnes. So deal agreed, McInnes says, for him to go to Hearts to be their new manager. What's your thoughts on that?
I think Derek McInnes is a brilliant appointment for Hearts. I think he's a manager that will take them to that next level. And obviously he's managed a massive club before in Aberdeen, which he won trophies with them, got them competing for the league with Celtic when Rangers weren't in it. And then always had a threat, and his recruitment is very good. He's done tremendous work at Kilmarnock. I think he's taken them as far as he could. And I think the next step in his managerial career is to go back to a bigger club. No disrespect to Kilmarnock, but Hearts are a massive club, one of the top clubs in Scotland. And his stature as a manager, he deserves that, and he'll demand that, and he'll demand standards at Hearts. And I think he'll take Hearts back into the top six and competing for Europe next season. And I think it'll be a big summer for Hearts. Obviously, Tony Bloom investing more money into the club as well, bigger stake. And Derek McInnes has an eye for talent, for signing players and getting the best out of them. So I think it's, for all in all, it's a win-win. And I think Hearts will do well with Derek McInnes.
Yep, I think it is the appointment that Hearts needed, because they've kind of lost their way a little bit, in terms of kind of progression. Whereas in the league they've had a really, really poor domestic season, considering the players they've got in the squad. So I think for Derek McInnes himself personally, I think it's the right move. I just think he's the right club for him. That sort of club that Hearts are just below Celtic Rangers in terms of stature and size, and I just think Derek McInnes kind of fits that sort of mould. Because obviously he was at Aberdeen, he did a brilliant job at Aberdeen. And Aberdeen Hearts kind of on the same level. I think for Derek McInnes himself, I think it's a club that suits him. And for Hearts, I think what you'll get Derek McInnes is obviously he knows the league inside out. He has been successful in his managerial career, as you said. He has an eye for talent. He knows a lot. He knows like every player in the division. So, I think it is a really good appointment. It'll be interesting to see sort of the style of play, because we all know Derek McInnes' style of play is quite. It's quite. He likes to play like kind of long ball. His teams are always known to be very, very physical. So I don't know if Hearts fans might like that, or I don't know how that will go. But I just think I definitely just think it's the club and the manager. I just think it fits together. And yeah, I think if it does happen, then I think it's a very good appointment for Hearts. So just another bit of managerial news. It's sort of rumours, but obviously we know Rangers are looking for a new manager. And we got it confirmed with Fabrizio Romano yesterday that Carlo Ancelotti's son, Davide Ancelotti, who's assistant manager of Real Madrid, apparently Rangers have got him up in the top of the list for him to be their new manager. It's one for me. It's totally out of the blue. I never expected that. So Davide Ancelotti to Rangers, Pearse. Where'd you even begin? What's your thoughts?
Well, if you're Celtic, you're licking your lips, I think. He's never managed before. He's obviously a brilliant assistant. He's worked his way up through different roles, through physios, fitness, all that sort of stuff, and he's worked his way up with his dad at some elite clubs he's won amazing trophies with. To mention his dad is the world-class manager. He'll never be a world-class manager, you never know, but the fact is his father's CV is what's got him a job and what's got him this link. So it remains to be seen, like you say, his first job in management to be Rangers. And let's be honest, Rangers are a massive club with massive pressure, and they've got a massive rebuild. And I don't know, and I don't think he's the right man for the job. Although it would be exciting, obviously, because you're obviously getting Ancelotti's son. He's worked with Ancelotti, he'll know the tactics in and out. And apparently, we're hearing rumours that Ancelotti lets his son Davide do all the sessions, all the coaching. So I think he'll be good. He'll be good on the grass, but it's a different kettle of fish when you have to do and delegate and pick a team and leave players out and try to keep this whole squad happy and compete in all fronts in Europe, progress in Europe, try win trophies for Rangers and try deal with that pressure of competing against another top quality side in Celtic, who are the strongest side in the country by a country distance. So it remains to be seen, but I think for me, I think it's a massive name, obviously, because his dad, and like you say, Steven Gerrard was similar. He was obviously a world-class player. He was only managing in the Liverpool under 23s, and then his first proper job was Rangers. and it did take a couple of years, but they stuck with him. They did win the league title, and then he then left the club. But so I think Rangers fans they'd probably prefer someone like a Steven Gerrard to come back, or like a Kevin Muscat, someone that's a bit more proven. But when you hear the name Ancelotti, I don't think you can't get anything but excited. Welcome name of that name into Scottish football. 'Cause I'm sure his dad would come into the stands and watch him and offer some advice. So I think in terms of Scottish football, it'd be amazing. But I think in terms of thinking about a Rangers point of view, trying to get back to where they want to go, and also with the investment coming, I don't think for me it's the right move.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, it's just rumours right now. We don't know if it's going to happen, but if it did happen, it'd be one of these appointments where it could go very, very badly wrong, or it could be an absolute masterstroke. Because, as you said, Davide Ancelotti, he's never managed before, and we all know being an assistant. Well, we mean you don't know, but we've heard that being an assistant manager and being a football manager, making that step up to being a manager is a totally different ball game. He doesn't know Scottish football. So that's something he's going to have to live with. I mean, Madrid and Glasgow are totally different. I would just leave it like that. So
Glasgow govern.
yeah, So he'll be in for a rude awakening when if he does become the manager. But
Flops to Brown Brogues.
yeah. But I mean, I was just thinking there, like I just thought about it, the fact that he'd be going from the new camp to potentially play Livingston away next season. The Tony Macaroni, I mean, it's just crazy. No, but the positive side is the fact that, as you said, he's been leading the Real Madrid session, so he's basically been coaching the likes of Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Bellingham, these top players. Obviously, that's a massive advantage. As you said, Carlo Ancelotti lets them lead the sessions. You know, he knows what it's like to be involved in a big club. I mean, there's no bigger club than Real Madrid, so he knows how it all works. You know, he'll have contacts as well. So you never know. I'm hearing Rodrigo at Real Madrid is thinking about leaving. Maybe maybe Rangers may have something there. I don't know. But so they have contacts as well. So you know, that might let Rangers might give them a boost. But if he does, I hope he does, because I just think it'll be so interesting. It really will, because it'd be one of these appointments where I'd be so invested in it. I'd love to see how it would go, because it would definitely be something really crazy.
Well, if that's the case, Tom, I think we know who will be at Ibrox, and that'll be Salvatore Buemi.
Yeah, Salvatore. He's been on this podcast before. I think he'll definitely be. I think we'll definitely get the lowdown of everything Davide Ancelotti. It's just rumours right now, but it does look like Rangers have got him at the top of the list, and we'll see how that progresses in the next weeks. So just before we talk about Asian football news, Pearse, we talked about this in the podcast last week about Carlo Ancelotti. He has confirmed he is leaving. Brazil have confirmed that he'll be the new manager. He's leaving Real Madrid, so that's confirmed. What's your thoughts, Carlo Ancelotti, Brazil? Yeah, I think that fits. I
think it fits. And I think we touched on it in detail last time. I don't think we need to go too much into it, but I think it suits all party. I think he leaves. I know this. He leaves Madrid as the most decorated manager in the modern era. He's won 15 titles. And they were the Champions League winners last season. This season not going to plan, but these things happen. Barcelona have came back stronger. And it's a cutthroat business of managing Real Madrid. If you don't win this season, you're gone. The football doesn't wait around for you. And I think his relationship with the Brazilian players at Real Madrid fits in perfectly to be the Brazilian manager. And I think being the Brazil manager, you don't need to work in, week out. You can go and take games, you can travel a bit, you can watch the Brazilian players all in Europe and in South America, and I think it suits them. I think Brazil need a manager to get them back into World Cup qualification and competing for Copa Americas, because you mentioned it before, they've had a really poor start to their World Cup qualifying campaign, in their fear of not qualifying. So I think someone like Ancelotti has been number one priority for a reason, and he's a world class manager, and I think it just suits him.
Yeah, I agree. Just the fact that international football, I think for Ancelotti at this stage of his career, I think would suit him. The fact he's not got that pressure of every single day. You know, and yeah, he'd be working with obviously a world class squad. Definitely need a leader and a sort of talisman like Carlo Ancelotti. So I do think it's an appointment that fits Carlo Ancelotti at this moment in time. And obviously he's had a great managerial career at Real Madrid. He's won everything there is to win there. So he's definitely going to leave with no regrets. So so that's confirmed. Not confirmed yet. Xabi Alonso, we all know it's confirmed that he's leaving Bayer Leverkusen. He's confirmed that, but he's going to go to Real Madrid. Not confirmed yet, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it later on when he is confirmed, Pearse, and we'll go more into detail about that in the coming weeks. So for the final part of the show, Pearse will now give his Asian football roundup.
Yes, there's not really much to talk about, just also some matches from the weekend. So we'll start off with some K-League 1 action. And then Saturday, 10th February, 3 matches. And that was Pohang Steelers 2, Suwon FC 0, Daejeon Hana Citizen 0, FC Seoul 0, FC Anyang 2, Daegu FC 2. And then Sunday, 11th of May, Jeju SK 1, Ulsan HDFC 2, Gangwon FC 0, Gimcheong Sanmu 4, Gwangju FC 0, Jeonbuk Union Motors FC 1. And that's leading to looking like us. The top of the table, we have Daejeon Hana Citizen on 20 points after 14 matches. Second, we've got Jeonbuk, Gus Poyet's Jeonbuk, on 25 points, having played a game less. And then we've got last season's, the 2 times champions, the last 2 seasons, Ulsan HD, are back up to 3rd position, but they have played 15 matches, 2 games more than Jeonbuk and 1 more than Daejeon Hana Citizen, and they're sitting in 24 points. And then just outside the top 3, we've got Gimcheong Sanmu on 23 points, having played only the 13 games. And at the bottom of the table, with Suwon FC on 11 points after 13 matches. Jeju SK and Daegu FC make up the bottom 3, and they've all got 11 points, all played 13 matches, and they're separated by just the 3 goals. So extremely tight at the bottom of the table. So moving on to J-League 1 action. Saturday 10th February, 3 matches. That was Yokohama FC 1, Avispa Fukuoka 0, FC Tokyo 1, Vissel Kobe 0, Kashirisho 2, Fagiano Okayama FC 0. And then Sunday 11th of May, Cashew Antlers 2, Kawasaki Frontale 1, Shimizu S-Pulse 2, STV Cheers Zelvia 2, Kyoto Sanga FC 1, Nogo Grampus 1, Albert Sagata 1, Ura Diamonds 1, Cerezo Osaka 1, Yokohama F Mariners 0, Gambo Osaka 0, Sanfrecce Hiroshima 1, Tokyo Verde 0, and Shonen Bernmare 2. So top of the table with Cash Antlers on 34 points, 60 matches played, plus 14 goal difference. Second we've got Kashirisho on 30 points, having played 15 matches. And we've got Kyoto Sanga FC in 3rd position on 28 points with 17 matches played. And then we've got Ura Diamonds in 4th, just inside the top 3, on 26 points. And Sanfrecce Hiroshima on 5th position on 26 points, but having played a game less than Ura Diamonds. So shall we take the top of the table? And we've got Yokohama Mariners, right rock bottom on 8 points after 13 matches, 20th position. Then Albert Zagata, 13 points, and Yokohama Mariners on 15 points, but they've both played 15 matches, 2 games more than Yokohama Mariners, and they need to take at least maximum points to make sure they're not caught adrift even further. And then just side the relegation places on 17th position, we've got Nogo Grampus on 16 points from 16 matches. And that's all your latest Asian football news.
Thank you, Pearse, and thank you everyone for listening to this episode of the Football Chuggu Podcast. This podcast will be available to listen to on the Football Chuggu YouTube channel and also the Football Chuggu website. Thanks for listening and see you soon.
Bye-bye.